Why be a cop?
Again, I think it's the greatest profession in the world. I really do. Because where else do you get, well, one, it's different every single day. It is different every single day. The expectations are extremely high on an officer. You should want to have to attack those expectations, right? It's going to make you better at your job and as a better person. The camaraderie that you have with the officers and the other employees within your organization, and that just tight-knit group, that when you know if something happens at home, if you need help, they're going to rally together and they're going to show up. They're going to be mowing your lawn because you can't. They're going to be doing all of these things. There's this huge support network within the profession.
Yeah.
And then when you take a look at it and you go, well, what do I want to do? Well, I want to make a difference in this world.
Yeah.
This is a profession where you have an opportunity every single day to make a difference in somebody's life. Every day.
Like a real difference.
A real difference. An absolutely real difference. You may be the one who mentors that kid that's having problems at the school who goes on to be extremely successful because you were the adult who believed in them. You were the adult that was willing to talk to them. They may not have that structure at home, but they have it when they come to school and they see their school resource officer. Or they have it when you show up and you're dealing with a spouse who's involved in an abusive relationship, and you're the one that finally gets through to them that this isn't the way they should be living their life, and you get them the help that they need. Or the drug addict that you talk to and you know that you're going to be back dealing with them again, but you don't give up hope on them, and you try to give them the resources they need to be successful, and all of a sudden they make that decision and they are successful. I have a gentleman that I meet with that sent to prison for a murder, a homicide. And he got out, reached out to me through another gentleman that I had interactions with as an officer, and said, "Hey, when I want to meet with you." And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if you really want to, but, and he goes, because I've thought about you from my very first day in prison. I've thought about you every single day. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to find out.
Where's this going?
And my wife was like, you're not meeting with him. I'm like, oh, I'm meeting with him. This is going to be interesting.
I'm so damn curious now.
Yeah. And literally, and it was, again, things you don't think of. The first time I dealt with him, he was married to a spouse who was a DUI and was being abusive towards him and had their kid. And so I came on the scene and dealt with it a way that he thought was the way it should have been dealt with.
Wow.
Later, I started dealing
Even though
with him.
he went to jail for it.
He didn't go to jail. She was the one actually that was DUI and in trouble, and people weren't really listening to the whole story. And when I arrived on scene, I was like, okay, everybody, let's stop. Let's back this up. Let's take a look at it and see what we really have here. But then he gets involved in drugs, and he was a veteran and was dealing drugs and was using drugs a lot. And the thing that stuck with him was I had called his mother in Oregon and told her, hey, man, is there anything you can do to help him out? You guys need to get him out of here. He's involved in drugs. He didn't listen. And I told him, you're either going to end up dead or in prison. Well, he ends up in prison. But just those interactions that didn't really seem like they were a big deal to me. They were just really me doing what a police officer should be doing with someone, trying to get them the help they need, even though they are committing some crimes as well, and you're sending them, they're in and out of jail, and made an impact on him. It was something
you
that he
considered
remembered.
something very small, kind of an everyday thing.
Yeah.
I'm not like the hero of this story necessarily. It's like, but yeah, I'm just going to try to do the next right thing and call this guy's mom and see if there's any way that somebody could help him. You have like a heart, is what you're saying. Yeah. And it actually turned out to be a life-changing thing for him that he thought about every day. Yeah. While he was in prison.
And he's very successful now. He's out and very successful working with veterans, doing trying to get them the help when they get released from prison. He goes and gets them all the resources they need. And so again, those things that we don't really think about, that and you had said it right, something that was very little to me. A gentleman by the name of Stephen Gower, I met years ago. He's since passed away, but he was a speaker. And that's one of the things he called them mega keepers for leaders, was what is unimportant to you may be the most important thing to the person bringing it to you.
Say that again.
What is unimportant to you may be the most important thing to the person that's bringing that to you. And I am so fortunate because my command staff, they're phenomenal. And I'm a very much, right, I look at some things, I'm like, that's the dumbest thing in the world, right?
Yeah.
And they'll remind me, hey, Chief, remember, what's unimportant to you may be the most important thing in the world to this patrol officer who just brought that idea to you.
Wow.
And I'm like, dang, you guys.
Yeah. Culture's working against me here, but in a good way.
So those things, right, are, you have to remind yourself of that. I have to remind myself of that all the time with your family, with your wife, with your kids, when you're like, why are you so upset? This isn't anything. And then I'm like, oh,
it could be.
It obviously is a big deal, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.